Hi, this is George, GI4SJQ, and welcome to the shack. What you're looking at is the back end of a 70cm X-Quad made by Wimo in Germany. This is the antenna. You get a view of it. And nice wee antenna, extremely nicely constructed, well put together. But I've got a problem. And the problem is when I connect the phasing harness into these two N-type connectors. From what I can see there, those are 50 ohm N-type connectors. Over here, I have the phasing harness. You connect your coax in here, and over here, you connect these plugs to the antenna. This longer one, you see one's longer than the other. This longer one has a short length of 50 ohm coax and a 50 ohm N-type. The shorter one has a 75 ohm N-type. This coax down here is all 75 ohms. So let's connect it up and see what happens. So we're going to tighten these connectors up as tight as you would. I can't move them any further. So let's connect the right hand cable. And that's connected pretty tight. We've got the Rig Expert AA600, which is good to 600 megahertz. We're going to connect it to the phasing harness, and we're going to turn on. I'm going to set the frequency to 435 megahertz, and I'm going to set the range 50. So we'll connect the patch cable to the antenna, and we will select SWR, OK, and we're running a scan. And there's the dip. Certainly not at 435 megahertz. I don't think the antenna is going to work very well with a 4:1 SWR and 70 SEMS. Let's go up and see what frequency this is at. It's at about 400, and the frequency's up here. 451 megahertz. Now here's the interesting thing I've discovered. We'll leave that there, and we will unscrew a few turns and rescan, and look at that, the frequency's changed. Let's go down to where I think the center is, which is roughly there. That's about 443 megahertz. In fact, if I come back slightly, it might even improve a bit, because my presence close to the antenna might have an effect. There we go. So almost 1.2 to 1 SWR at 443 megahertz by loosening the connector. Still not in the 70 SEMS band, but at least it's a bit closer, and with adjustment of the first driven element, we might be able to get that down a wee bit. We'll just do SWR here and press OK, and it's showing 1.29 to 1 SWR. And just to prove it, I'm going to go up to the antenna. That's one turn. That's about almost 2 turns. That's pretty well finger tight. The SWR is now 2.3 to 1. And let's do a scan again. And there's our scan running. And oh look, frequency's changed. Back up to 451 megahertz. What's happening? Let's turn the analyzer off and disconnect it. And what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the left connector. So we're disconnecting the left connector. Take it out of the way. We've got a multimeter. Put it on resistance. Select continuity. And we know that the center pin comes out here, comes around here and goes to earth. So the whole antenna is at zero electrical potential as regards DC. So I'm checking continuity from the center pin through to earth. And you can see this up here is connected. Let's prove it's connected. There, that proves it's connected. But when we connect from the junction box, nothing. Now, one turn, 1.5 turns. It's connecting. This connector, loose, works. This connector, tight, doesn't work. That's a problem. And it's a problem I'm not quite sure how to solve at the moment. So check back at some stage and see if I come up with a way of solving this. 73 from George, GI4SJQ, and the very strange occurrence of the Wimo 70SEMS antenna that's not working properly.